Okay, well, thank you all for coming today to our energy savings workshop. It's sponsored by ERBA, which is myself, the Embarrass River Basin Agency, and CUB, which is Cate York. And I'll let Cate give a little introduction to herself. So if you want to do the next slide, Cate.
Sure. Thanks so much, Sandy. My name is Cate York. I work for Citizens Utility Board. I guess I can go to the next slide in a minute to give a more formal introduction to Sandy and myself, but we wanted to note that this webinar is being recorded. So we will have it available on the CUB YouTube site, available at youtube.com/user/CUB Illinois. We are, ERBA is providing gift cards through the ISEF, the Illinois Science, Energy and Innovation Foundation. I always get acronyms a little bit confused, but we are providing gift cards for this webinar. So if you complete the webinar and you answer, and you also fill out the enter your name and demographics on the ERBA website, you can receive that $10 gift card. There's a little bit of instructions here, Sandy. I don't know if you wanted to go over instructions filling out the ERBA form.
Yes, they can go to our website, and it's the housing counseling tab. The housing counseling tab, you'll see the red workshop button. And then you can do an intake, and you don't need to enter the extra household members, and you can just enter zeros for your social security number. And then once you've completed that, please send me an email at sandyd@erbainc.org to let me know that you've watched the webinar, and just answer the polling questions that we ask. And then I can email the Domino's gift card to you.
Great. So, so a little bit of background on Citizens Utility Board, or CUB. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We are based in Chicago, but we serve the entire state of Illinois. And our organization was actually created by the Illinois General Assembly in the 80s to advocate on behalf of utility customers in the state. And so we do that through challenging utility rate hikes. We represent Illinois customers in the courts. We do research into how energy policy affects people who pay utility bills. We have a consumer hotline that we operate from 9 to 4 every Monday through Friday, where customers can call us if they ever have difficulty with their utility companies. This is especially important right now due to the pandemic. A lot of people have had a hard time paying their bills. The utility companies actually had a moratorium on utility disconnections for a time. That has now ended, although we are heading into the unofficial winter moratorium, where utilities tend not to disconnect customers. But there have been a number of issues with customers struggling to pay their bills. Utilities did agree to financial assistance for customers, but customers have to call the utility companies in order to access that. So we really encourage people to call their utility companies right now if they're struggling to pay their bills, to make sure that they can access financial assistance. But another thing that CUB does is we do outreach across the state. And so before the pandemic, we would go all around the state to different events to talk to people about how to save money on their bills. So now we're doing that virtually. And so I'm here today to talk a little bit. I'm going to come in maybe a little bit later to talk about some of the different ways that the smart grid can help us save money on our bills. Take it away, Sandy.
Thanks, Cate. My name is Sandy Deters. I'm with the Embarrass River Basin Agency, or ERBA, as we call it for short. I'm the housing counselor, so I help individuals work on budget and credit, as well as foreclosure. We do pre-purchase. So if someone's wanting to purchase a home, they can come to us and do a pre-purchase program. We offer online budget classes. We offer online workshops such as this, and we partner with other agencies such as CUB and other agencies to try to present these workshops and keep them informative. ERBA itself, we are a nonprofit agency, community action agency. We've been around since 1965. And we also offer things such as utility assistance, such as Cate mentioned. So we have the Light Heat program. We have a senior program with senior meals and some senior sites. We have Head Start. We've also got backpack programs for kids that are going to school. And we've also got scholarships. So that was, I think the deadline was back in June, but always keep on our Facebook site and, take a look at information that might be upcoming. We've got a homeless division. We've got weatherization. So people maybe that are, and a lot of these programs are income qualified programs, but need some health assistance on weatherization for their homes. We do that also. We've got a little book here, so we can happy to share some information with anybody that's wanting more information. We've got 18 Head Start programs out there. We've got emergency food and shelter programs that we also have, rapid rehousing with our homeless program. So we've got a lot of good information here. So if you need one of these booklets, I'll be happy to email it to you. So, and today we're going to talk about different ways to save energy, conserve energy, whether you own your home or whether you rent your home. So here we go to get started. So we'll just talk about some different tips that are available. Again, this can be done either on your home or your rental property. And now Ameren used to do a home energy audit when they would actually come into your house. And now I believe that they're doing a virtual, or they send you instructions on a self home audit. But they'll go through your house room by room, just telling you different ways that you can save energy. There's blow tests that they do, and you can see from the picture, from the top picture to the bottom picture is showing places that energy is escaping from your home. So just taking a look at this picture, you can see that maybe they need to put some either blinds up, or they need to put some seals around their doors or their windows because there's a lot of energy escaping here. And just getting an energy audit can really focus on those areas and help bring your expenses down. So next slide, please. So we want to talk to you about what is your whole house plan? So where's your home or your apartment losing energy? You want to make a plan. You want to ask yourself just a few questions. So how much money am I spending in energy? Where's my greatest losses? So you can tell by that picture that we were showing there, one of their greatest losses would be around their doors and their windows. So, and if you want to make an investment, what's my return on my investment? So there's some simple things that you can do, such as light bulbs, which we'll talk about. That's not a great investment, but could have a great impact on your utility bills. So, and is there, what's important to you? So, it might be important for you to be comfortable around your house, when you're home after work. So maybe double pane windows, efficient windows might be something that's in your hand. If you own your home, how long do you plan to stay there? Again, for that return on investment, can you do things yourself? Do you need a contractor? What's your budget? And how much time do you have for maintenance and repairs? But again, if you rent, you can do a lot of these same things yourself. Next slide, please. Okay, Kate, can you do the poll for us? So
absolutely. I'm trying to actually, it looks like I have the wrong poll. Hang on one second.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so that is up. Have you had an energy audit for your home?
So if you could just take a couple seconds and answer that.
All right, so it looks like It looks like we have some people who have not had an energy audit, so that's
Okay.
great. That means that
All right.
there's great potential for
Yeah,
you to save on your bills.
there you go. All righty, next slide, please. So tip number 2, we want to look at different ways to reduce heating and cooling usage. And when we talk about ways to save energy, we want to do twofold. One, we want to save everyone money, and therefore you'll have more money for your budget, out there. So this is just, good tips for that. And 2 is to conserve energy. So we want to be good stewards of, energy and the energy that we were given. So it's a twofold program here. So 48% of household consumption is your heating and cooling costs. So if you, for instance, if you use a smart thermostat or programmable thermostat, that if you can, you could save up to 1% for each degree of that thermostat adjustment. So, through the day, you're not home, you can program that programmable thermostat or smart thermostat, and you can set it down to, say 68 degrees, and maybe an hour before you come home, then you bump it back up to maybe 72 or something like that. So throughout the day, all those hours that you're gone, your energy consumption is being lowered, and then you'll receive that savings off of your electric bill. So slide number 3. Okay. So we want to cut down on our heating and air conditioning units, so you can close all the doors, in the areas that you're not being used. Excuse me. You want to make sure that you change your filter and check with your heating and air conditioning company and see exactly how long. Some say quarterly, some say monthly. If you've got allergies, it's a really good idea to change it on a monthly basis. And one important fact here is that I used to work at a heating and air conditioning place, and I knew how important it was to change your filters, but I just forgot to do it, and our air conditioning unit froze up outside. So not knowing what caused it, I called the serviceman, and $150 later, granted that was probably 30 years ago, so it'd be much higher now. Come to find out that my filter was so nasty dirty that the airflow just could not get through there. So learn from my mistakes. Also, if you want to cook with an air fryer or grill outside, those are just good ways in the summer, to reduce your usage inside. And we talked about the programmable thermostats. Again, like insulated curtains can really help cut down on that. We've got kits. When I was in college and lived in a kind of a shady apartment there in Mattoon, we sealed all of our windows. We went and bought one of the kits, and actually when the air blew, you could see the plastic going in and out. So if you're renting, you can still do things like that to cut down on your utility bills. And there's little instructions there about, your ceiling fan and how to switch it to counterclockwise in the summer and the reverse in the winter. I didn't realize that. I was watching some YouTube videos and learned that. So, okay, next slide, please. Water tips. So again, if you're a homeowner, even if you rent, you can still, maybe you have access to your water heater. So you want to turn that down to 120. If you turn your water faucet on and it's hot to the touch almost immediately, that is probably too warm. So take a look at your water heater and see what it's set at. You can also insulate your hot water heater. It says insulate the first 6 feet of the hot water heater, the pipes that are going through your house, to keep those from losing so much of the energy that it took to heat that water up. So, and if you're looking for new appliances, look for Energy Star. That's going to save you quite a bit too. And every 3 months, it recommends that you drain your hot water heater just to remove that sediment out there. So hot water heater is about 18% of your utility bill after heating and cooling. So Next slide, please. Appliances, again, they're about 13%. So, look for those Energy Star if you're in the market for new appliances. You want to wash your clothes in cold water, um, and wash and dry full loads, and separate like your towels from your other things. And you can always I hang my towels a lot of times, well, through the winter. I even hang them across some of the doors in my house, and even on the shower curtain or shower rod, and things like that, just to try to save some energy and make sure that you're cleaning that lint screen. So not only to improve the efficiency of your dryer, but also to prevent a fire hazard. So, and um, if you use the air dryer on your dishwasher, or if you just tell it not to heat dry, it will just air dry. And a little bit later on, I think Kate's going to talk about different ways to save energy with different types of utility companies. But my daughter uses I believe it's the PowerPoint pricing with Ameren, and that is just using your appliances on off hours. So in other words, she would start her laundry early in the morning, really early or really late at night. And just by doing those two simple things, she was able to save $30 a month just by using her dishwasher and her clothes washer, on those off hours. So next slide, please. So what actually uses the most energy in your house? And you can see that it's the hot water heater, followed by the clothes dryer. So those are things that you can, that we talked about, obviously, and that you can control a little bit. A lot of good information is down there at the bottom. It's energysavers.gov. So that will give you a lot of good information about ways to save, on your utility bill. There's also Kohl's Moultrie here in town actually has a little device that they will let you borrow that will show you how much energy your appliances are being pulled. So even things like your cell phone charger, it's plugged in maybe all day. So just simple things like plugging everything into a smart strip, and then you can shut it off, or so that vampire energy is not being drained. So next slide, please. So what we talked a little bit about in that first slide was air leaks and insulation. So you can see different points in that house there that are representative where some of the greatest leaks are in your house. And if you can get that energy audit, and hopefully Ameren or Kohl's Moultrie is going to start doing those again. Those are two of our major suppliers in this area. But if they are not one of your suppliers, please contact your energy supply company and just ask them if they offer anything like that. There's also good home energy audit YouTube videos out there, so you can watch those. Next slide, please. Lighting is about 5% of your total energy audit. So I was actually at Lakeland College, and we were doing a little workshop on this. And I had a gentleman said that he replaced his, just his light bulbs, and he was saving over $80. Now, I'm not sure if that was a year or a month. It seems awfully high if it was monthly, but depending on how many light bulbs he had. So right now, I believe it was in Dollar Tree, and they had packages of the LED light bulbs, very inexpensive. Places like utility companies like Ameren are providing those, and also Goodwill is another place that I found them at. So you can, of course, get them at places like Walmart or Menards or things like that. But if you pick them up at Dollar Tree and Goodwill, a lot of times they have reduced the cost greatly at those places, because typically, maybe people that are on reduced income maybe shop there more often. Therefore, they're trying to help them out a little bit more. So next slide, please. So while you rent specifically, you can make every purchase. If you have to purchase some of your appliances, you want to make sure that they're energy smart. Again, as we mentioned, you switch out your light bulbs, because that's one thing that you would have to take care of when you rent. And sometimes those are expensive. So if you can't find them at a, very reasonable price, you can just replace them, as you're able to. So that's that return on investment that we talked about. So, if you can only afford, $10 at this time, well, then, spend $10 and then you'll notice your, utility bills coming down. And then when you can afford 10 more dollars, do the same thing. So you want to unplug your appliances when you're not using them, buy some power strips. The Embarrass River Basin Agency right now, well, unfortunately, we can't see clients face to face, but we have little kits from Ameren that have power strips, LED light bulbs. They've got a shower aerator and they've got a faucet aerator in it. And that's similar to what you can get from Ameren itself, from the Ameren utility company. They could also mail that to you. So you can ask your landlord about installing a programmable thermostat. And if he's not willing to pay for it and that's something that you're, willing to do yourself, you can really save, again, how long are you going to be there at that apartment? So just make sure that you get the okie dokie from your landlord before you do that. So wash your clothes in cold water and, hang it whenever possible. And also you can ask your landlord if he can complete a multifamily energy assessment. So again, that's something that Ameren, ComEd, maybe Coles Moultrie do. So they can come in and look at ways to reduce your utilities. Actually, we were talking at a manager meeting the other day, and there might be some money out there for landlords to get like weatherization. So that's something that they're looking at, maybe next year. So some of these landlords might be able to update their apartments so that they can reduce the utilities for their clients. So make sure if you've got a window air conditioner that you seal it up. So next slide, please. Okay, I think we're ready for poll number 2, Kate.
Great. So, yep, poll number 2. Do you have LED light bulbs in your home? So yes or no, and I'll close this up in a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds.
Yay.
So looks
So we
like
got
we do have LEDs.
There we go. Here we go. Alrighty, next slide, please. So just a few things, and most of these, well, these would be for homeowners. So, or at least the first couple, there's a 504 grant. So if you're if you or your family members are over 62 years old, and you income qualify, you must own your home and your property, but there are grants up to $10,000 for health and safety issues. So we help a lot of people get new windows, or maybe they have a roof that's in really bad shape. So if you get a new roof, you can bring down those utility bills. It's more efficient with a new roof or new windows. They do walk-in showers, walk-in tubs, insulation, all kinds of things that they do. If you're not over 62, but you own your home, you could qualify for a 504 1% interest loan. So again, it's for health and safety reasons, but they do have grants to say, for instance, if you want to redo your home, you might be able to get a little bit higher interest rate to do other things for your home. So credit generally is 620 or greater, but USDA does allow what they call a manual credit score. So if you don't have credit and you don't have bad credit, you can use things like your telephone bill, your utility bills, things like that to prove that you do pay your bills on time. So just a few other grants. I mentioned the Ameren, different programs through Ameren. They do have a home efficiency program that they do right now where they might be able to replace your air conditioner, your furnace, insulation. They do energy audits, or they have in the past. So also they have a multifamily program that they do that was mentioned. So you can, check with your landlord if you rent. Other programs are, if you own your home, are community development grants. So you can call your city or chamber office to see if they might have those. There is one in For those that are around the Coles County area and surrounding areas, Coles Planning Regional Development Office has got some grants to help homeowners with repairs. So I think that might be it for me. Kate, you want to take over?
Sure. Thanks so much, Sandy. Those were all such great tips. I am going to transition just to talk briefly about a program that's available if you're an Ameren Electric customer. So this program kind of focuses on this main idea that it's not about just how much electricity you use. And Sandy provided a lot of great ideas about reducing your electric and gas consumption. But when it comes to your electricity use, it's when you use it that is really important. For a lot of people, for most people on their electric bill, you just pay a flat rate. Flat rate doesn't change no matter when you're using electricity. I hear from people all the time who are on a flat rate and they say, I wash my clothes overnight because that saves money. It's not saving you money if you're on a flat rate. And a lot of people don't know that, and they've been actually helping us out because they've been using electricity when peak times, outside of peak times, when not a lot of people are using electricity, but they're not actually getting credited on their bill for what they're doing. They're just still paying that same rate. So for Ameren customers, there's a program called Power Smart Pricing that actually allows you to pay the actual rate of electricity. It's not a flat rate, it's just the actual rate, which actually changes every single hour according to demand. So why is that? Well, we don't store electricity. There are a lot of efforts globally to invest in battery storage happening right now for electricity, but that's not the way our system's set up. The way our system's set up is basically we have to produce enough electricity to meet how much electricity people are using at any given moment. Otherwise, we end up with like blackouts and brownouts. And we've certainly seen a lot of coverage of that in other states. So what happens basically is when we're using, on a hot summer day, basically in the summer, usually afternoon, that's when everyone has their ACs going, businesses, pre-pandemic, but still we saw this summer as well once the country started opening back up. Businesses are going, people are turning on their ACs at home. It's a lot of electric demand that we don't normally see, right? Because these are extremely hot days. And in order to meet that demand, we actually have to turn on what are called peaker plants, usually natural gas fired power plants, whose sole purpose, for their only reason for existence, are these just couple of days in the summer. So it's an incredibly expensive way to run things, right? Because we all pay throughout the year on our electricity bills for those plants to be in existence. It's called the capacity section of our bill. So we actually pay, it's about 25% of the supply portion of our bills just to pay for those power plants that are going to help us out on a couple of days during the summer. So it's not a very efficient way to do things. And the way around this basically is if we can all shift to a system where we are more strategic in our electric use in the summer months. And so one of the ways to kind of help that are programs like this. So the program that I'm talking about, the reason we can have this program is smart meters. So for Ameren customers, Ameren actually has been working on deploying these smart meters over the last several years. Now it's in their full territory, so any Ameren Electric customer should have a smart meter. And the smart meter enables two-way communication. So not only does the utility know how much electricity you're using, but it actually knows how much electricity you're using at any given hour, which wasn't happening before. So it's a very much more sophisticated way to examine electric usage. And if you're an Ameren Electric customer, you can actually log into your Ameren account online, and you can see how much electricity you've used at any given hour, within, I think, the last 2 years. So you can actually go in and look at your own usage, and you have the right to that data because that's your electric data as an Ameren customer. And so you can access that and kind of play around with it and see when are you using a lot more electricity? When you're using less electricity? And it's kind of a nerdy thing to do, but I think it can be really revealing, especially, if it comes to having an inefficient house. If you're using a crazy amount of electricity in the summer to keep your house cool, you'll probably benefit from an energy audit like Sandy was talking about, because that means that all of that air that you're cooling, your air conditioner is working really hard to cool during the summer, it's all escaping. So so it can definitely be revealing when it comes to things that you could do to start saving on your bills. Another thing, so basically the best way to save money on this program that I'm talking about, called Ameren Power Smart Pricing. So again, it's a program where instead of paying a flat rate for electricity, you're paying a rate that changes according to every hour of the day, according to demand, which sounds kind of like a scary thing for some people because it's a little unpredictable. But like almost all times of the year, almost all times of the day, the price that is the hourly rate is actually much cheaper than the flat rate. And why is that? Because the flat rate has to be the average of all those different prices. And sometimes the price of electricity gets really high on those summer afternoons, right? When everyone's running their AC. And so if you're always paying the average, you're going to be overpaying for electricity for most of the year. So here's just like a breakdown of, like a typical day, various things that you might be doing in your home that are using electricity. So, on a flat rate, you're paying the same thing. These different appliances are using different amounts of electricity, but you're paying the same rate for that electricity at all hours. So on the flat rate, same rate, right? On the smart rate, or the hourly rate, you're actually paying way less, from 7 to 8 a.m. So that would be a great time to use more electricity, right? Because you're paying less. And then when it gets to middle of the day, this is just an example day. So the prices change every day. But it usually does tend to get more expensive in the middle of the day, and then it's really cheap in the early morning and overnight. So that's a good time to, if you have the flexibility to strategize when you're using electricity, maybe running your dishwasher, running your washing machine at night, you can save a lot in the program. But I should say, you don't have to actually be super involved in planning out your electric use to save money on Power Smart pricing. On average, customers save 10% on the supply portion of their bills, and most people don't even check prices. So it's really easy to save money. So prices do get high sometimes, like I said, summer afternoons. And so if you're not flexible about when you use electricity, you have to be a little bit careful. If you're always going to be using a lot of electricity in summer afternoons, might not be the right program for you, but most people are pretty flexible in what they can do with electricity. Most people don't have to use a ton of electricity at 4 p.m. on July 9th, and so there's still a lot of potential to save. Another great thing about the program is if you're on the program, you automatically get an email every month with whether or not you're saving. It's totally free to go off of the program. There's no cancellation fees, so if you're not saving, you can always just cancel. I should also say there is a monthly charge for the program. It's $2.25, which seems like, why would I sign up for something that's, an extra charge? But it's kind of deceiving because you pay $2.25 per month, but you actually save, almost all people save. So you actually save way more than you're paying to be on the program. It's only like $27 a year, and most people save quite a lot more. I'm on the program, and I think overall since March, I've only been on the program since March. I think we saved like $20 or something like that. So, and that's including, that's already having the charges for the program deducted. So that's on top of all the program charges. So I don't use a lot of electricity myself, but for people who use a lot of electricity, you can save quite a bit. And then, as I said earlier, shift in usage saves the most. So instead of running your AC on full blast, from 3 to 4, if you're able to maybe turn it off for a little while, cycle it on and off, you can save a little bit more on those hot summer days. And like I said, this all kind of moves us all towards the goal of using our electricity more strategically and lowering costs for everyone. Because the less electricity that we're using on those hot summer days, the less we're all together paying. And then this is just another, I'm just repeating the chart that Sandy showed earlier, different electricity levels for different appliances. So as you can see, your clothes dryer uses quite a lot more electricity than some of your other appliances. So that's why I said that's the kind of thing you want to turn, you want to wait to run until prices are cheaper on Power Smart pricing. Obviously, you're not going to be unplugging your fridge when prices are high. But like I said, most people save on the program. Even when prices do get high, they don't really get that high compared to the flat rate, and only for a couple of hours generally. And then as you can see here, this is a day where the price actually never exceeded the flat rate. So definitely potential to save. And then here's just my account, my Power Smart pricing account. You can see kind of what I've saved, savings. This was, several months ago. So you can see it wasn't that much savings early on, but I've saved quite a bit more since. So if you're interested in signing up, but, again, if you're an Ameren Electric customer, I really strongly recommend signing up. You can visit the website, or you can call. I really recommend calling so that you can talk to a human who can advise you personally. And then there's another program I didn't talk too much about, but it's called Peak Time Rewards. That is a no risk program at all. There's no charge, and there's no way you're ever possibly going to pay extra on that program. It's a summer program where if you sign up, it's free to be on it. As I said, no risk to really anything. Everyone should pretty much be on it if you're an Ameren Electric customer, because there's only the potential to save. During the summer, Ameren's going to call usually a few peak time events that they call them, and that's when everyone's using a lot of electricity, on those hot days. And Ameren will notify you automatically. They have like those special hours. It's a specific set of hours on a specific day. They'll notify you, and then if you save electricity, you save compared to what you would have used, then you actually get an automatic credit on your bill. So it's a great program. It's a great way to save a couple extra bucks on your bill during the summer, and it's a great way to help us all out. All right, so we have one more poll. Thanks for sticking with us. I will launch that right now. So this is just a poll to see if you would be interested in signing up for Power Smart pricing. All right, so it looks like I'll need to look into it more. That is the answer that I would give. So I think that's a good idea. Always a good idea to really make sure you have the best information. But I would really recommend calling the program just to talk to them. It's a nonprofit that actually manages the program on behalf of Elevate. And so, on behalf of Ameren, the organization is called Elevate, and they can advise you and give you really good information about whether or not you'd be a good candidate for the program based on your past usage. But I should say again, almost everyone saves on the program, and the average savings is 10%, with potential for more savings, depending on your usage. So can't recommend the program enough. All right, so moving on. Oh, I also just wanted to plug, again, working for Citizens Utility Boards, we're really happy to talk to anyone who has concerns about their bills. This is our hotline number, 1-800-669-5556. We also post a ton of information on our website. So, lots of free guides about ways to save, and also, just anything you might be curious about on your bill, what's going on with your utility bills. And this, we also talk to people about their telecom bills, so phone bills, cable bills, gas and electric. Happy to talk to people. Here's a screenshot. Actually, I was talking to someone about their Ameren bills. We offer a free service. It's called a utility bill clinic or consultation. So for free, if somebody wants to send their bills, we can go over them individually with them one-on-one and identify ways to save. So it's a really great service. A lot of people don't take advantage of it, but people who do take advantage of it are always really effusive about it. So it's something I really enjoy doing, talking to people one-on-one about what's going on with their bills. And these are some resources and links that Sandy provided. We can also, I think we can put this, post this at the bottom of the YouTube video so that people have access to this. It's really great information.
All righty.
That is it.
Well, thank you very much, Kate. We've got just a few minutes for